Alqubit, IT, as an expression of art. Alqubit, IT, as an expression of art.
Hello world, after a month I'm again online. Welcome to Alqubit, my name is Borislava Tachev and I am the founder of Alqubit. Today I have a lot to cover, really a lot. This video is the second release of the Atem audio and settings and control optimization. Why is that? Because I have developed significant amount of knowledge in between, but I've been bullied on the Atem Mini user group on Facebook and also Davinci Resolve, because I have shared really insightful guidance and real value, and I've been attacked in group from producers and colorists. I don't back off under any bullies. I'm going forward. I'm destroying all the bullies with my value, with my quality. Look and learn. I have real gold to share today, and I've been doing very complex production with multi-layers, with transparencies. This is the first time and I need just to warm up a little bit, just for a sec. Let's explain what is going on. So what I'm going to explain. This will be more concentrated video than normally I'm doing, principally concentrated on Atem Mini Pro and Extreme, obviously generation 1. About the idiosyncrasies of the circuits, of the audio issues that they have and how to solve it. My first video was at 16, live production was at 16th of October, so exactly 6 months ago. And I have actually invested 3 months, and I have invested in upgrade what I've done. I have done first that I invested in Atem Mini Pro. After that I needed to invest in optimizing the audio, and after that I invested in Stream Deck XL, because without you cannot, it is here, exactly here. Without this you basically cannot do during the live stream. It is impossible. I have invested in a field monitor, and I have improved dramatically all my production, color matching, optimizing the scenes, and this is how it has been done. I have invested in Davinci Resolve since the beginning of from 17th of January. I've got this Blackmagic Intensity Pro 4K, which is this Blackmagic card HDMI. I've got it with being super fortunate with this. I've got it €100 less, because it was used as new, and coming from one of the countries from the European Union, I didn't pay for VAT, basically 160 against 170 now. And this has been great investment in order to obtain what I'm doing now. I have invested in, we will see, in Davinci Resolve. I got it, the license, together with Speed Editor. I am using it multi-purpose, principally now as a HyperDeck, because my HyperDeck broke from overheating during my back and forward recording in networking via network. This is my content creation server, exactly this model, HP 380 G9, currently with 256 gig of RAM. I have those old generations of NVIDIA, but they are doing great job. I have Quadro P4000 Quadro, and recently I added P4. Use it, but it was perfect new. P4 is only for virtualized environment, and it has contributed lowering the load for around 30%, and I am more than satisfied with the performance. Now I am streaming via Restream on 5 platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Twitch, and another one that I cannot remember now. It is I will present the configuration, specific configuration of Atem Mini audio levels in order to not going into distortion. The number 1 and 2 issues with Atem are low level during live streaming, low level encoding into the file, and I have absolutely brilliantly overcome that with precise levels. The another big issue was distortion, fine-tuning of the levels that are extremely difficult to reach, and I have found the perfect levels, and I will present the circuit level, how the Atem Mini, Extreme and Pro are different based on the inputs, and how you can optimize. And initially, why I have invested in Extreme? Because Atem Mini Pro specifically, I don't know if ISO has a little bit more powerful CPU, and but Atem Mini Pro, even though I am optimizing them absolutely in identical way, I am exporting the configuration of the microphone with Extreme, importing it in Pro, and I will show, I will do showcase exactly how it works. We cannot, basically there are differences, and the levels are much more prone to distortion on the Pro version. It is a limited device with a tiny device. There is nothing to do with that. And let's go. I'm currently recording in uncompressed file, which generates 8 gigs per minute. Here I'm using the Intensity Pro 4K from one of the output of Atem Mini. Basically, I'm recording very high quality uncompressed. You've 10 bits, perfect. In order to do after that, I will do after the live. I will update once the timing has been stabilized. I will upgrade on the description on the live, the captions, the timetable with the specific arguments, and when I will produce and upload the 4K version, they will be the same. With the description, instead of live, it will be 4K version. And this is the warming up. So, levels. I've got very how I can do in order to I'm doing super levels and I'm trying to optimize. So there are 4 layers here, basically. The background, the downstream key, the upstream key, a couple of upstream keys, and the super source. This is the function of Atem Mini Extreme. That has super source. You can do whatever you want. And this is what I'm trying to describe tonight. Today is 17th of April 2025, and now in Italy is 1:80. It is live. So I will describe Atem Mini input specs, the circuits differences based upon the levels of the inputs on Atem Pro and Pro ISO. Input 1 has this chip, TMD S171, which is a retimer, and 2, 3, and 4 this circuit, ADV 7610, which is HDMI receiver. Why are different? I have found significant information from a video that the CEO of Blackmagic has presented 10 years ago, and how the switches are done as a principle of functionality. Port 1 is the one that gets the defaults of the settings. That is why it usually works better and synchronizes better with the different devices. They are not different in the specs as a color space and the different level of resolution and frames per second. but the one that is called retimer, that guides the default of the others, is this. Port 1 on Atem Mini Pro and port 1 and 2 on Atem Mini Extreme, and the other ports are basically as slaves. But from standpoint of view of the characteristics, and that's why I disagree with the ones that are saying port 1 is exclusively for the PC. It's not that way. All are basically the same, but the one that is setting the defaults and distributed and sets the rest of the ports is the port 1. That's why if you have the same ports, it's the same devices, it's always better to start from port 1 in order to set the default in the other. I have done different tests and all the ports are able to adjust to exception as an exception on different frequencies and resolution, and do the scaling, but this one is better. I have now completely reconfigured my Atem in order. Why is that? Because I want the best quality of the sound and of the characteristic of the synchronization of the picture get from my Intensity Pro, Blackmagic Intensity Pro, that I'm using it as a stream deck, as a HyperDeck, and I'm playing the video at the beginning. I have played that and it is perfect. I have done many optimizations, and I have found really great configuration. Now I will do a specific video about I've got recently the professional calibration for calibration sensor basically, and I have fine-tuned and calibrated everything. 3 laptops, this field monitor, everything from as a source from Davinci Resolve, and I have found I've got the second monitor as a reference monitor, relatively low cost, 260. I have published it on my LinkedIn yesterday or the other day about the results, about everything, and I will do a dedicated video about that, how to optimize, how to do the process. It is perfect. It is absolutely must to have, and I've been able with monitor of LG 4K. Initially I've got monitor that was let me show you. I've got initially this monitor, and I've been fortunate to pay it only 100 euros against 169. The same thing, I've got it, it wasn't sold initially. Now they are selling it directly on Amazon Italy. It been sold from Luxembourg, I think, initially, and I paid it 100 euros. But what is the problem? That they're showing off a lot of specs, and it was kind of good initially, but there is a lot of issues, and I cannot obtain this level of quality. With the 4K LG, I have absolutely perfect reference monitor for 260 euros. It is IPS. I have published let me see if I can quickly find the specs. Yes, those two monitors. This one is here in front of me, that I was in January 2020, last year I've got it in order to do my 4K videos and everything. It is 10-bit actually, because it is able to manage the 10-bit on screen, even though they are somehow managed, but it is perfect. Pixel pitch is only very low, it's perfect. And the last one, this is 95% of P3, DAC P3, and it is really that. I will do specific dedicated video that don't want to switch too much out of the scope, but this has been enormous investment for me for the current situation, and I have doubled down in excellent performance and excellent results. And with the software that is display Cal, which is free version, I'm able to create a lot and configure them in Resolve here, and I'm obtaining perfect results. This is with the calibration. Stop. So I'm here. I began to talking about this. Let's return and stay on the. I found this exceptionally good Blackmagic teardown of Atem Mini Extreme ISO, and I will show exactly how it's done internally. It is really interesting. You can see here the inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 HDMI input. This is the extreme version. The 1 and 2 are the versions with TMDS 171, and they are guided. I don't know how they are distributed. I imagine the one is with the first 3 and the second with the other 3, and they basically guide the others. Extreme is really extreme performance in confronted with the Pro. The optimization of the audio is completely different. It behaves, as I have said in another video, it behaves exactly as in Davinci Resolve. The Fairlight, it is absolutely similar thing. In Pro, there are a lot of idiosyncrasies about how to fine-tune the levels. And from standpoint of view of hardware, if you buy singular pieces, there were a lot of really expensive stuff. If you pay only for the processors, it costs more than 1,000 euros, 1,300. They are obviously able to obtain a lot of optimizations, and it is serious stuff. I will eventually share the link to this document. And the Pro version has basically only, if you cut this, only the first, let's pretend that this is the first and the other three. So I have found that what has been the last week for me, optimization of the audio. I initially wanted to use a laptop with VLC in order to do the background music, but I found that with my server I can absolutely totally manage it, and there are a couple of things that I want to share in order to optimize VLC as a source, audio source for Atem Mini during live streams or recordings, whatever you want. But I'm using point-to-point, end-to-end super optimized configuration. How is that? I'm having the subscription for Artlist and for my awesome Epidemic sound. I am downloading the music. It is completely covered with all the rights as WAV 24 bits 28 kilohertz, and I have configured, this is very important, when you configure or connect, I'm using now P4 NVIDIA P4000. My NVIDIA P4000 is giving me two outputs at the moment. I have seen that it doesn't work if you point two outputs to the same device. They are in plug and play, basically identified as the same device. It doesn't work. It's going into conflict. But in this way it works. One here with my big monitor 4K LG. This one is front on me. This one is there with my stream. And what I was saying that NVIDIA configured with one output to this monitor and one output to this monitor. I'm able to integrate directly into my Atem Mini the output of the VLC, and the optimization is, all the audio optimization is multi-parametric fine-tuning. It is impossible to obtain one thing that is working always ABC, do ABC and it works. It kind of works, But in order to super hyper optimize, you need to execute a series of fine tuning that are correlated, and you need to fine tune one the another. This one that now I'm configured to as output in VLC, you can configure the specific output, and I'm Blackmagic design HDMI NVIDIA high resolution directly here now on port 2 with this chip that is much more performant. And this is 24-bit 48 kilohertz, and the super optimization, audio super optimization, is once you connect the source that I'm here now, that I need to open it, this you need to configure here the best audio properties in order to obtain best audio, because Atem Mini is with the broadcast quality, audio quality, which is exactly that, 24-bit 48 kilohertz studio quality. This is how you need to set it. If you the first time that you connect, or often that you disconnect or reconnect, it repositions at 16-bit. If you want to have the depth of dynamic depth of the music at its best, you need to set this one, and you can do the test. You see, it is absolutely real time. This is essential to optimize the port into, let me do even more creativity if I can. I was I cannot think now, but it is good enough. So the output of your NVIDIA or other card that you are inserting into Atem Mini, you need to optimize the audio. This is one, in order to use it as a source for the background music. Here, and I can easily change everything I want. I have created I will show exactly in companion, Bitfocus companion, how you can optimize, how you can, but it is an item that I will explain a little bit later, exactly how to optimize and how to set in order to integrate it, the VLC with companion. It is via network. So this is one part of optimization. The line basically that is going into Atem Pro or Extreme, the same thing. It is absolute. Let's return to respect this as I'm skipping here and there, losing the trace. How you can optimize in order to have the perfect -14 laughs on YouTube and the other platform. I have super fine-tuned, and this is done through specific audio levels, which are counterintuitive, but I'm ensuring you those are the right levels and there is no distortion. Let's enter into how the audio chain elaboration, how it works. In Atem Mini you cannot change the audio, this one, the order. You cannot change. In I don't have the multi-view. Let me see the multi-view. Equal. I'm looking for the order. So you be basically starting with equalizer, and after that the dynamics. So in Atem Mini is working in that way. Equalizer, dynamics. This. And it cannot be changed. The limiter, so basically what is entering into input, this limiter is working only on the input level, not on the output level. That had been my struggle at the beginning, that I was pushing the first video of audio optimization that I have produced, if I can remember well, 17th of November 2020, last year. It was imprecise because of this. I was thinking that I will have the limiter anyway, and I was pushing like crazy the output and it was going into distortion. I will increase the level of music only to show what I want to say. This level needs to be, in order to obtain LUFS minus 14 LUFS, you need to stay between -5 and -2 here. And here. Minus, not lower. Forget about digital mixing and everything. If you want to have pure sound, crispy, crystal clear, at -14 LUFS, you need to stay between -5 and -1. -5, -3 is the best. And I have said here -2, that the last few days I'm constantly fine-tuning and optimizing. I have seen that if it's going into, obviously this is related to every pre-amplified input, every input that you have, line input. When you activate the limiter, it operates from here to here. And you need to arrive here at the maximum level possible, not more than -1. Your absolute peak peaking needs to be -1, not more, because at the 0 you going into distortion, obviously digital distortion, that it breaks and you hear that it's falling apart. And with my microphone, I will explain this. I have obtained from my Zoom F3 here -1 as a line. I have disabled all limiters with Zoom because it introduces some unpredictable behaviors. It's basically functioning better if you are using it without limiters and so on the Zoom or other mixer. Introduce this. I have explained it in another video that you need to think it as a flow of liquids. It is the same. Every input needs to be exactly before the saturation in order to go into distortion. And this is done in order to obtain -14 laps. This. This is -14 laps guaranteed on YouTube or in my encoded file. This is exactly -14 laps. Initially I've got very efficient and useful program, that is this one. How I can set it in order to capture now. It's demo mode and it doesn't work. It was working this before. Now I'm wanted to showing off. It doesn't work. Basically, this is I'm trying to find how I can match it with the output of the specific interface. Basically, with this program you can obtain in real time the reading of your stream. But why that it doesn't work, I have no idea. It is integrated. You can find it the same. It is integrated with Davinci, and if you need to do the normalization, you can basically do it here, the same. But initially I was using it very much a lot. Now I'm prefer to use it. It's much more easygoing and quicker to use the built-in loudness meter of Davinci, and it works perfectly. So I basically almost abandoned this. What I'm doing is to read the file. What I can do, I can basically do a super advanced trick. I can import here my live stream recording file in real time here, and it will analyze my recording, how it's going on. It will take the time that will take. I'm reading, multitasking from the recording, and it works perfectly. I will show. So returning here, minus 14 laps is for professionals, producers on the live streaming or on video for the loudness levels. I'm obtaining, sometimes I'm plus 2 dB and I get normalized slightly, or sometimes I'm staying, if I'm staying at minus 2, minus 3 dB, I am at between under the minus 14 laps, under 0.7 dB. So it is perfect. And this is fundamental. The other thing of optimization which is essential on Atem Mini Pro and Extreme. On Pro is much more problematic. Here works like charm. This one, I have set the microphone. I recently fine-tuned some of the thresholds minus 2. This I have set it minus 3. Initially I was keeping minus 5. After that minus 3. Now I'm between minus 3, minus 2. Depends on the source. In order to be heard and to push the sound forward on Atem Mini Pro and Extreme, you need to use the compressor in specific, very hard way in order to push the sound. If I disable this, it is empty. You can hear that my sound is different on the microphone. If I put this, it is gaining more strong body consistency. And how it's done? I have super fine-tuned ratio on the minimum, minus 27. Yes, not only the highest level. You need to push to compress the entire signal of the microphone and push you forward. It works really like a charm. Perfect. From when I have enabled this, I can use Atem Mini Pro and Extreme in super excellent sound. Dimi that, let's say that this is not the perfect sound from the standpoint of equalization, microphone, everything. It is perfect, crisp, no distortions. The specific fine-tuning that I need for this microphone from Shure, but it is I need to invest. So I have obtained it more than perfect with what I have. The expander is essential in order to compress the noise, ground noise. You can hear now I have the room echo and the level of noise from this microphone. I'm using in parallel two microphones. The Shure MAVX MAV7X has very low ground noise, this is has the noise, and if I disable the equalize, the expander, it is you hear the noise and the echo. This is very problematic on the Pro version. It behaves completely different. I can show off on the Pro. I have done the configuration in order to use in in real time the microphone input on the Atem Mini Pro as well, in order to do the comparison. One important thing to keep in mind: there is pointless, absolutely pointless, to even try to use the microphone preamplifier on Atem Mini Pro and Atem Mini Extreme. They are really bad as a quality. Absolutely, I have trashed this possibility to use. I have used the line input with the zoom as basically external mixer interface, line interface, not as an interface intended as an audio interface via USB, but as a line output, unbalanced output entering into line here. It is order of magnitude better than to use my Lavalier into the microphone input. It is trash, absolute trash. It doesn't have. It is digital. Immediately it's transformed into digital, and then it is the weakest point of Atem Mini Pro and Extreme. And the other weakest point for the Pro specifically is the optimization of the dynamics, and how to fine tune in order to don't have the distortions. But don't use the microphone preamplifier in Atem Mini Pro and Atem Mini Extreme Gen 1. It's pointless. Line is perfect. I have fine-tuned. You can obtain sound without any distortion and sound at minus 14 laughs built in during your life. I'm never doing post-production basically, except the upscaling in 4K. I have the sound perfect. I don't do any adjustment to the sound. Basically. Maybe I can increase it from 1 dB in order to instead to have minus 1.5 dB under the 14 laughs. I will increase it 1 dB in order to obtain in 4K minus 0.5. But I don't do any. And this is the optimization. Finally I got it. So I need to I'm doing multi-keying the transparency. I'm getting absolutely crazy. What I was talking about, this important part about the optimization to the microphone and the zoom. I will use the zoom if I can show it here. I'm opening, it is transparent, but this zoom F3, it has the settings, perfect settings, output, line output, -1 dB. It doesn't reach any distortion. I have set the two microphones on different level. This needs a lot of boost. I have found almost the perfect solution. It's not the perfect I need in order to obtain super level, good level. Which one is this? Super good level. I would need an external audio mixer, good level audio mixer that has enough gain in order to boost this microphone. Even though this specific model works quite a good level of gain, it still needs a boost in order to be heard well. So I have a little bit pushed it here. The Lavalier is basically, it is a Sennheiser ME4. This is very particular microphone, this one. It works at 10 volts and it has applied the phantom power. This converter is specific from Rode, balanced, and it regulates. It can be used with balanced cables. There are three converters from Rode. One normal, which is basically a converter connector with the thread, and XLR that doesn't have any adjustments inside. The other is XLR Plus, which is I've got it two times, give it back because I don't need it, and it's impossible to find it anymore. The XLR Plus cannot be used with balanced cables, but can be used that it converts the power at the appropriate level in order to not to destroy the microphone, because you need a plug-in power between 5 volts, 10 volts, based on the type of microphone. This one works perfectly with 10 volts. But internally, I have set it to phantom power 24 volts, I think. And this here I have multiplied. There is no dB here. It is multiplication, how you can gain the output. 128 x 228 for this microphone. Sorry. For this instead, 256. And it works quite a good level. Before I was boosting too much and I was very low on the line output, -8 dB. I was completely ignoring initially F3 to optimize because 32 float bits it is auto-optimizing. It auto-optimizes its recording, not as a line output. You need to fine-tune it, thinking of it as it was a mixer basically. So -1 dB in order to not push at the zero the output. Here, I have fine-tuned the levels in order to be the microphone strong enough, but before you hear that it is becoming it's before the breaking the sound. It is the effect of so I was using before 512 X 512 and even 1000. It was too much, and it was, you were hearing that it wasn't at the level of perfect level. It was always some kind of distortion, missing the words. Now it's perfect. I will need a cloud lifter in order to optimize. And how I have overcome this? I have, in order to have the crispiness of the microphones, I have super boosted the high level of equalization. It is working like, it has this distortion in the high end level, but I will need to invest €1,000 in order to super resolve this. Now it is a solution, and it works. I have done this level of optimization. It works like shit. So the input levels, this one is important. I have done the zoom output, line output minus 1 dB, and I'm recovering here plus 1 dB. The beginning I was pushing too much, plus 6, minus 8. I was doing a lot of experimentation. It was always problematic. So basically it recovers. I'm preventing to have into the preamplifier distorted signal, and I'm recovering at the level of preamplifier. Those gains are different from those gains. You need to arrive here at this level at the perfect -5, -3 already, and you are managing it with the limiter. If you come here very low with green and yellow, and you are trying to boost this 100%, 1000%, you're going into distortion. This level is only to fine-tune the level as a mixer versus the master. It's not done fader gain to boost the gain. You're going into massive distortion. Don't have to use it. In fact, I have set, I was setting before -0.58 because it is the minimal set of this thing here. This is the control surface of the Behringer. I will arrive here. This is part of the optimization. If the minimum movement is 0.58, and that's why at the beginning, but I don't care. Now I have set it -30 in order to, if you set -30, this output is not going beyond that, and this prevents the master to going into distortion, because if you have multiple streams, the master obviously summarizing everything is going much stronger. So you need to not going to 0 dB on all those in order to have the output in the right I'm permitting myself from time to time to reach 0 here and there, but it is on purpose. It is only exceptional case. And for the music that I'm putting from my PC as a VLC, I have fine-tuned my equalization in order to have, it is called sweeping. Really, I have done a lot of tests in order to obtain the crispiness, clearness, this spicy kind of sound, and this is my solution. So, repeating, input gain, you need to stay between -5, -3, -2, -1 and the super peak in order to have -14 laughs. You need to use those to lower the input when you need it, but never to push the gain that is missing here with this fader. You're going to massive distortion. This is not its work. You need to repress the sound, not to boost it from here. This is after the preamplifier, it's going to massive distortion. It sounds really bad. So it needs to be done that way. The master, I have only the limit on the master. I don't operate any equalization and anything. It works like a charm. I have found that -2 is a good point to push to the limit in order to obtain poor -14 laps. And it works. This is dynamics. Compressor with the microphone. Expander in order to have the noise reduction and everything done. And this is a pure gold. I have invested 3 months and 2 Atem Mini, and I have obtained perfect sound. And this is against the bully that instead of taking thanks me and be grateful for the information that I have shared on Atem Mini group, my specific timing of my video, I've been attacked like I'm talking with kids 10 years old. Those are professionals and they are gatekeeping and have attacked me on multiple groups because they are always the same with Davinci Resolve and Atem everything. All the information, any information that I began to share, they attacked me and devaluate the... I have never seen more boring video in my life. But go fuck yourself. My video is absolutely gold. Pure gold of information. Let's find out how all talking about for those afflicted but deficiency of the concentrating. This video is for normal people that want to learn, want to understand, and want to optimize their settings. This is not next, everything in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes. I don't care I absolutely don't care about society that wants me to transform myself into a slave that is doing everything on command in 3 minutes and doing the design in 4 days. This is for you slaves. I'm doing the things that I need to do and think, elaborate and understand and learn. And it takes time, it takes concentration, it takes quality. And this is the setting against those bullies on the Atem Mini and Davinci Resolve groups on Facebook. Fuck you. And this is the setting. So I have found I'm using 25 frames per second, and this is my super optimization. I have a delay of 1 frame, which is 40 milliseconds. I actually have 2 frames of delay, around 75 milliseconds with my HDMI. But if I push to 80 milliseconds, I cannot, and I hear the discrepancy on the sound and I cannot speak. So I have found the middle ground. With 1 frame delay, I'm super fine. It's unperceivable and perceive it on online. It works perfectly well. This is about the delay, about the levels, about keep in mind that those gains are for the input preamplifier, and you need to arrive at the perfect level here, not yellow, not green, in order to boost. The less you elaborate the sound, the better. And this is the one. Let me see what is next. Atem Mini I have shown. Levels limiter expander. Audio chain elaboration order, I have done it. How to avoid digital distortions. Input gain and fader gain. Mic 1, mic 2 line settings, best level with zoom, equalize, boost. I have done it. And I will show the comparison with Atem Mini Pro. Basically, what I will do. Now I am using the mic 1 input, like a line 1 input here on Atem Mini Extreme. And in parallel, I have this one, Atem Mini Pro, with the exported this configuration, imported it here. It should work absolutely the same, but the level a little bit more distorted. It needs fine-tune. For the purpose of this test, it will be imperceptible. You cannot find the difference, basically. But there is a significant difference, I'm ensuring. So I will disable for a moment I will disable for a sec the mic line. Hello, hello. this is now the Atem Mini Pro that is using its line of mic 1 as a input line. You see that it is more pointly. The sound is different, and it is much prone to distortions and less coherence of the sound. It is different sound. It is I can say that it is almost impossible to super optimize the version Pro. It is so problematic. And now we connect here for a sec. And you hear that the limiter is behaving this pushing and opening. It is typical for the Pro version. That is very bad. I will connect to the Pro. Hello. You see, the Pro version is problematic. It needs to be done with different level of fine tuning, but it works. In confront that I have suffered the first 3 live productions, that the one was minus 25 dBs under the loudness level of YouTube. You basically wasn't able to hear anything. And with every experience I have gained a very significant feedback of how I can improve the sound. I don't like it. It is so obvious that it doesn't behave as a fair light. The extreme is behaving as a fair light. This is very problematic. It's beyond problematic. And you hear that this when it becomes with vibrations, it opens and closes. So Pro version is, the circuit is different, very problematic, but my guidance is working 100% even there. And it helps to optimize the levels, but it is not the level poor crystal clear level of extreme. Extreme is perfect, optimized. And I will switch back. It was only to share how I have done it. I have the output of the Mini Pro into the input input 8 here without elaboration. This is so a little bit slight, but I can even disable it. It is different sound, and Pro version is problematic, very problematic. And with the same settings, it has slightly different sound, and you need to fine tune it with the same guidance about the laughs, about the levels, about the preamplifier level, about the faders, gains, the same. The audio chain elaboration order is the same. You need always to look at the input as a limiter. It doesn't work on the output. The same, absolutely the same. And it is clipping somehow. I don't like the sound of Pro. That's why I invested immediately in the extreme. I was desperate basically. So just a sec to swap I'm back, and this is sound is different sound. It is so clear, so with consistency. It is good sound. It is yes, the high level it's still, but I need to boost it in order to make it. But the sound is perfect. You need to use the extreme if you want to use its built-in sound. Let's stop here about this. About the startup state, there is a bug. I have explained it in another video, but I will only briefly explain what I have discovered and what I have suffered like crazy. When I use it as a new, the extreme, it was perfect, was working, but they were here populated because when you reset as a fabric, this remains. This resets only if you do the clear startup state. And this clear startup state brings you into trouble that you are not going out of it if you don't apply this. I have tested it 2 times with Atem Mini Pro and 2 times with Atem Mini Extreme. 100%. It happens 100%, at least with the Atem software control 961 was at the time in December. It happens regularly. So you basically clear the startup state. It reboots, and what you need to do, once you connect to the level, to the connection, it populates somehow. This is my own interpretation. It populates probably with some invalid character the startup configuration of the network. And let's enter into the startup setup. And what happens? I have set the static IP in order to have absolutely coherent, stable configuration. It works like a Swiss watch. It sets its DHCP with 995, 168, 10 something. If you change only the settings, it doesn't work. You save the configuration, you try to connect to Atem software control, it crashes the Atem software control 100% of the time. And I have troubleshooted it a lot. I was desperate. I just got extreme and it doesn't work. What you need to do in order to solve it easily 100%, you need to delete every row. Every row. Delete, not change. Delete entirely. Every row. And you need to insert initially a valid static IP of your network and save it. And after that, once it is saved, let's pretend that it's not open. You open for the first time. You need to set. This is broadcasted through its Bonjour protocol. I don't know what it broadcasts the improper configuration of the network. It breaks the software, crashes the software every time. You need to set of the X new configuration of the static IP, delete it completely, insert completely new, row by row, incorrect settings, and save. You need to connect initially manual address specifically to this IP that you have set. You bypass basically bonjour, all the announcement of the network, and it updates its DB, and it works like a charm from now on. It works. After that, you can return to the setting if you need a DHCP again. You set it to DHCP, it works. But initially, if you reset the clear startup state, it goes into crash. And this is the super solution, super gold, poor Blackmagic. I have shared it in January, I think, that I've got from the bully. I have never seen more. We are adults, you are not kids. Everyone is trying its best to survive, to develop, to thrive. And please, don't ever try to bullshit me and to bully me in my life. Whatever you are, company, people, bullies, I don't care. From 10 years old, the bullies, I'm destroying them, or I'm going for it like a tank. I don't care about bullies. My value is real quality and real value. Real knowledge through my hard work, through my integrity, investment, and day by day development. So please stop bullying, stop bullshitting. Just go forward, live your miserable life, and don't bully me. Point. Whoever you are, producer, Davinci, colorist, and whatever you are, I don't care. Good for you if you're making millions, trillions, but don't bullshit my life. Don't bullshit my experience. Don't bullshit my work, my value, my sharing with dignity, my work in my knowledge, and my positioning in the right way in the marketplace. Stop bullshitting. Clear? Once for all. And this is the solution with the setback. The very big solution that I have invested a lot again for my situation has been the X-Touch Compact and Bitfocus Companion. In order to be able to manipulate during live streaming, one thing that needs to be understood once for all. During live events, live stream, you cannot never ever optimize in real time with the slides here with the faders into the software. You need this thing. Let me see if I can return to the effect that I wanted to do before. Just a sec. Patience to see if I can do it. And how I was doing it here. I wanted to be here. So you can see what investment, mega galactic investment I am doing in order to obtain the best explanation. I will explain absolutely in real time with multiple views, with multiple points of control, how you can operate in Atem software control through this is called a control surface. It is produced by Behringer. It is called Behringer X-Touch Compact. It works perfectly for all 8 channels from extreme, and with knob 15 you switch to the 2 microphone lines here. It is motorized and it reflects exactly the position, physical position and software setting what you have set on the Atem software control. It is using basically as a proxy. It is essential to be connected via USB from here into the computer. I'm using my server with I'm having just a little digress. I'm using 2 network extension, USB network extension from my server. This one that is in my home office. From this server, I have connected one USB 15 meters USB 3 with repeaters, and one USB 2 with repeaters because the cost of the version 3 was something crazy, so I got one this way, the other that way to contain the cost. I don't need everything in the super USB 3. So basically, end of the extension. You connect USB. It has USB hub even here. It works perfectly 100%. I'm using it very much. Once it is connected, you can connect other couple of devices. It works. So you need to set I'm forgetting every time. Preferences. You need to enable MIDI control here. In order to interface this control surface. Once this is done, the Mackie has 2 operating modes. You need to turn it on into the Mackie protocol. It is done in a specific way that I don't remember anymore, but if you search online you will find. You basically turn off the power, push a certain button that I don't remember if it was 1, 2 or here something, I don't remember. And when you turn it on, it switches into the Mackie protocol and it is default mode. It's default mode from now on. And each change here, it is turn one of those LEDs into Mackie protocol, basically. It needs to be Mackie protocol, and any control surface can only work with Atem Mini software control if it has the Mackie protocol emulation or direct. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Behringer X32 works, but it costs 2,000, 3,000. I don't know. This is, I paid it, use it as a new for 260, and now its price is 260, 270. But it works. And let's show off how it's done. Real time. I have set, I'm using Bitfocus companion massively in order to use the control, all kind of control, complete control of Atem Mini Extreme Pro and VLC. Let's go to this. This is my page. Can see here on my Stream Deck, absolutely the same. You can see it is the same. I have preset the levels, every level. Basically, even though I'm doing a mess here, I can return exactly to the position that I need because I have set the levels. You can see now it shows -100, -100, -100. But its default level to arrive is -0.3. Look here, multiple levels. Look here, I will push the button on my this one. Look here and look here. It will do all the three in real time because it is the same control. It is done on the Atem Mini Extreme. Look, it is motorized, it will do all by itself. It returns to its values that I have set, pushing here the button, and returns to its values. I have set the same. I can enable every input here, which is basically the audio on off on any of the inputs of the Atem. I can turn on, turn off the microphone basically. I can do it from here if I want. But this is basically the interface of my Stream Deck. Mic on, and here is the same. I can enable it from here. And this is how you have a complete real-time control of Atem Mini Fairlight levels, except dynamics. The dynamics, let's hope that I will be able to invest as soon as possible into Extreme G2. I hope God will help me to survive. But it solved the issue with the audio levels. That is the big issue. And the dynamics, as in television studio, at the high level. And this is how you do it. You can basically, I have set the gain levels on any setting. I can go, for example, and mess here, this one, at minus 17. I can return here, you see, minus 70. Here, or on Stream Deck, just with the push of the button, I will return to its proper level 0. 0 gain. And this is the super solution that works like a sham 100%, but there are some idiosyncrasies. Sorry that I sometimes I am able to pronounce, sometimes not. With the buttons and how to optimize companion. I have seen, even on the Atem Mini group on Facebook, and with my experience, there, if you go, for example, an empty page, there are presets. Atem_1 is my Atem Pro. When I use those presets specifically for Atem Pro, I haven't done this precise set, but it corrupts the configuration of Atem Mini Pro and goes into complete breakdown. And once you save the configuration, your Atem Mini Pro is basically unusable. You need to reset it if you are fortunate. There is something problematic into the presets specifically for Atem Mini Pro. Don't use them. What is the result? You begin to set, it works, at some point it goes into madness, and it works, half works, only from the Stream Deck. You basically lose any kind of control, it goes into madness. Atem Mini control, physical control, it going into crash. So don't use them. What I'm using, and it works always, absolutely perfect. I'm creating manually every button. Yes, it's more work, but it is bypassing any presets and every bullshit. When I need to create a button, for example, here is empty. You going into the variables, and for Atem Mini Pro is here. I'm having all the variables that I can control, and there are variables that you insert into the button and actions that are appearing once the button is configured. And there is no way to going wrong. Only you need a learning curve initially to understand how it works, but it is very easy. Let's say, for example, you need the audio level from how they are differentiated. The gain is this, the fader gain is this. And under, you see, the gain, input gain, the fader gain is this. This is the fader, this is the gain. And you just copy one variable, selecting the button, regular button, insert the variable, it reads the value of the button, and I have set even on the Atem Mini it is the same mirrored configuration. So I have under the fader gain -3, and if you want to do something description, you insert the description after that. And action, you see the actions how they appear. You basically hear all the variables. You start with dollar something and they're appearing, and you choose which one. But you need to be very precise in order to not do some error. And under the action, you can choose starting with this is related to Atem_1, which is a variable that is created once I have created initially the connection to Atem Mini Pro. I have created on purpose Atem_1 in order to keep them easy distinguishable. And now we explain how you can export and import the configuration. This is fundamental to distinguish them. Variables, button, and you create the action. Attention, if you reset any device and don't have saved, exported the configuration of the pages, specifically for VLC, I have suffered reconfiguration from the start, from the ground up with this. If you reset certain devices, don't have the export of the page, it resets all the sub actions. It deletes the sub actions. You cannot use anymore this page. You need to recreate it. So every page that you create and configure, please keep in mind that you need to export the page. I have exported today X new all the pages. You need to export the pages and to set them correctly. When you import the pages, you can redirect based on, and this is how it works with multiple devices using the same configuration. It is the only way that it works. You configure with the criteria that you choose, the names of the same devices if you have the same. When you import the page, it asks you which Atem_1 or Atem_2 are related, and it changes automatically this part of the variables Atem_1 or Atem_2. It doesn't work at all if you try to change the variables into a live system during its connection. It doesn't work. It creates so many issues. You basically import and redirect the entire page with perfect configuration into the new device, and it changes automatically this portion. And this is especially true for VLC. I will show how it's done. VLC is very interesting and very important. I will delete this bit. I don't need it. VLC. I'm massively using VLC with all my songs, the background initiation. I have set all the levels. You can see I can push this song and it starts. How it's done from A to Z. It is really very advanced. The best player that it's around out there. You need to enable the remote control and the network configuration. It's done. I have super fine-tuned, so it is done in order to optimize the interface. And is it possible to use it instead of HyperDeck with quite good results? It has a delay of initialization once you push the button for the first time on the video for around 1 or 2 seconds. Let's see here how it's going to.
Alqubit. IT.
This is how it starts. And it can be absolutely, if I disable that, it's done. Hey, this is the issue that a schermo intern. Okay. The main issue with this is that based on how you close it or reduce it is during the functions, it doesn't behave the way you expect. It changes, and during the life when you need it more, in order to not show any of those, it is possible, but it is very difficult, almost impossible. So I completely abandoned it as a solution to show the videos online. I'm using it only, I have this control, basically.
Alqubit.
It is possible, but it's too much work. It works and sometimes it doesn't work. And returning to settings, in order to be able to control it from the Bitfocus, you going, unfortunately it is in Italian. I have no idea when it has taken the Italian as a language now. Into preferences, and you need to choose not those. Here is fine-tuning of the interface. Those extended, everything here. Under interface, you need to enable web. And under Lua, you need to insert a password. insert the password, enable the web, and this is all. Save the configuration, and after that, into Bitfocus, it can be on another system. You just need to pay attention to enable the firewall in order to communicate a certain and the port that it uses. I'm using localhost, so the password is VLC. Break my configuration if you want, I don't care. VLC password, it insert under Lua, and once it's done, it configures. And I have created the same principle here, VLC_1, VLC_2 for the VLC on my laptop that I was using it in the beginning. Now I'm I prefer to have everything under my nose here. And it works perfectly. This is how it's done. The buttons. You have the presets and it works quite well. The lists are problematic because you need to do it. Those are presets that I have inserted here. Today I have deleted some of the main. I have inserted here to have under my eyes in real time the cache value of the live stream and the stream throughput in order to have real time. Otherwise I need to see the multi-view, and this is immediate. You understand that you have those two values are taken from the variables of the Atem_2. They're not part of the VLC, but you can mix and match them. I have done this. I have created all the specific discrete values because obviously you don't have the fader to adjust the value. They are done from 0 to 255, not 2256. From 0, there are 256 values, but 0 comprised. So basically you start from the 0 to 255. And in order to obtain percentage, you apply the percentage of 255 and obtaining the value that you need to apply here in order to obtain the percentage. And this percentage is seen here in the angle as a volume. If I push now on 100%, it corrects immediately 100%. If I push here 35 or 25, it is correcting immediately. And as I push any value, it adjusts the volume and gives me feedback with the volume level in real time that is set. I have insert here basically as 100%. 100% is this txt value, but this 85, it is reading this string, and it is based on the actual level. So you need to have this double value. You need to insert basically the label of what value you apply. You set the action, and the action, when you apply the action, is set volume, the level, and the connection is VLC 1 on 2. But this VLC 1 on 2 is done during the import of the configuration, during the creation or during the import of the configuration. In that way, you can have multiple VLCs or multiple systems and apply the same system, and with the initial connection string you can redirect the entire page and it works from the start. One important thing that is not explained, it is difficult to understand, is the playlist. The preset of the playlist on VLC is shown only for a couple of presets value, and you need to change them manually. There is no other way. So I have insert basically, and you need to insert, this is very important after that, the play ID and clip number and the connection. Otherwise you are seeing something else, and after that the button is activated completely different. So it needs to be one-to-one of value of the connection stream. The playlist string needs to correspond to this clip number, and this clip number is basically the order that you are seeing the songs here. The clip number 1 is the first one that appears. If you change the order, it changes the number of the song, and it appears here on the immediately, basically after a couple of seconds, it updates the display. But this is important. I have insert here very useful function, how many seconds I have. When I start a new song, I'm having 2 countdown. One is going up and the other is going backwards, in order to know how, if I find a good point of the song in order to do the video mix with some image or something, I can easily find it, and during the pre-live I'm seeing how much time I have left. It is very useful. And this is the name of the song, basically, you know, because it is not clear. You can do a lot of fine-tuning feedbacks once pushed to change the colors and everything, but it is a lot of work, and this is good enough for me. And this is the optimization and configuration in order to use the VLC into the Bitfocus and integrating it with the HDMI integration, interface integration in Windows, in order to have the what I have shown at the beginning. This, in order to have end-to-end 24 bits, 48 kilohertz, and you have perfect sound. And this is how it's done with VLC. Is it gold? Yes, it is gold. Once for all. Let's see what is missing. Behringer I have shown. Mackie protocol. I have 3 more things, and after that we'll let me see how much time. I'm already at 2 hours. It was supposed to be short. Ground loop noise. I've had a very serious issue with ground loop noise initially when I was using HyperDeck Mini Plus. It has a reference ground with the cable, and via HDMI, once you connect to the input of the Atem, for example, let's say that one, it changes the ground of the Atem Mini. And I was connecting the laptop as a VLC source, which has its own ground as a power source, and it was creating ground loop, enormous noise, very bad noise. You cannot solve it. You are solving ground loop with Atem Mini only with a device, specific device. Let me see. This device that I am having it here. I bought there are a couple of solutions. You can buy a couple. I bought a couple, and it was it solved 100% the solution, but it has, you have the attenuation of the sound of about a couple of dBs, and the equalization is impoverished. The equalization is getting dull a little bit, not too much, but it changes. You need to push and correct it in order. But with this, you are plugging in into the input of the Atem Mini Extremo Pro. Here the output of your PC, audio PC, if you don't use the HDMI directly in digital. But any source, if you have ground loop, bzzz, any kind of source noise, this is solving it 99.99%, and it works perfectly. I have done live streams with perfect sound with VLC from my laptop, and it solved the issue. Just it has little attenuation, and you need to correct the equalization in order to return to the original crispiness. This is one. The another, if you need to connect Atem Mini Extreme and Pro, which is unbalanced, with a mixer that is balanced, it is a must that you need this to use this converter balanced to unbalanced and vice versa. It is both sides, and it works perfectly. This is the way how it's done. It is Clean Box Pro from Art Pro Audio. This is the device. This, if you use external professional level mixers with balanced cables, you need this one. And you need to use the balanced cable for as long as possible during the distance, and only once you reach near to the device to convert it, obviously, in order to don't generate any noises if you are very distant. The connection of unbalanced trait needs to be as short as possible. And this is the another. One important thing with Atem Mini Extreme that has the headphone output. In order to have a good sound, real sound, its circuits of Atem Mini Extreme and Pro. Pro doesn't have. I'm using with Pro. I'm using the output of my Field monitor, and it adds another 80 milliseconds of latency with this. So basically, I will need to add. It folds the latency, and if I use the external monitor, I basically cannot correct into Atem software control this delay, because it's become unusable, absolutely unusable. So it is an issue. If you need the external but the external monitor, you can use any kind of headphones, even from your with very high impedance. There is no issue, because usually the monitor has enough amplifier power in order to give you the sound without clipping, without distortions. With Atem Mini Extreme, there is a false distortion that you are hearing into the headphone, because it doesn't have the power to guide. There is an outside into the world. I will. We are almost done. You need to use very low impedance, high quality headphones with Atem Mini Extreme in order to have the realistic sound, really good sound. And I have found that if I use low quality, high impedance from the smartphones, it is impossible to use them to fine tune the sound. It's going into distortion clipping because of the amplifier level of the headphone, instead of the distortion, real distortion. So it is unusable. You need to use. I'm using Sony MDR 7506, which is professional level from 40 years, the reference. It works like a charm. They cost the lower price possible for this level. Here's the comparison. Here is the level of MDR 7506. There are 63 ohm as impedance, and it works perfectly. You can again take the new one, MDR M1, which is even lower but costs 250 euros instead of 100, and even the highest level with open window, open, I don't know, even the 24 ohm impedance, even better. But this costs 450 euros instead of 100. And it's never enough. You can always optimize it, burn money like crazy if you want. But with those here, they are reference for monitoring, and they're absolutely perfect. I guarantee you they are perfect. After a couple of hours, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. They're not for long. Those I have read and seen that those are much more comfortable, but you pay for that, especially those that are open window. So you need low impedance headphones for Atem Mini Extreme, otherwise it is going into distortion, false distortion of what is going on. And this is the end. I think I have exhausted all the arguments. Thank you very much. I will put the outro here as usual. Let's find the right project. Okay. Thank you very much. The sorceress into the space-time reality, the sun, Blackmagic. There are 3 levels of I have done it finally. So thank you very much. Let's see how I'll produce and the best for the outro. Thank you very much. We will see the next time. Let's see.
Alqubit. IT as an expression of art. Alqubit. IT as an expression of art. Alqubit, IT, as an expression of art.